Heal Thyself, an explanation of the real cause and cure of disease. Edward Bach. This book is dedicated to all who suffer or who are in distress. Dr. Bach is well known for his genuine mix of humble spirituality and down to earth understanding, and his simple philosophy has been a source of great inspiration and comfort to many people. Heal Thyself has aroused such interest, which in turn has prompted certain questions about particular aspects of the book. In the final paragraph, we are urged to unite with that great band of the White Brotherhood. Some people have expressed concern that this was a racist remark. We would like to make it clear that the use of the term had nothing whatsoever to do with the skin color or race. Dr. Bach found every form of racism abhorrent. He used the word white to refer to spiritual light, and the brotherhood was that set of spiritually enlightened people of both sex and drawn from all races who worked for the benefit of the humanity. In chapter 3, Dr. Bach directly links physical symptoms to negative emotions. However, it is important to note that he wrote Heal Thyself at the very beginning of his discoveries. He later abandoned the idea that physical afflictions were a guide to underlying emotions, as clearly expressed in the 12 healers and the other remedies. The mind, being the most delicate and sensitive part of the body, shows the onset and the course of disease much more definitely than the body, so that the outlook of the mind is chosen as the guide as to which remedy or remedies are necessary. Take no notice of the disease. Think only of the outlook on life of the one is distress. We hope this has helped allay any misunderstanding, but most of all, we hope you enjoy the book and find your thoughts and perspective on life enriched as a result. Happy reading and best wishes. The Bach Center, Mount Vernon. Chapter 1. It is not the object of this book to suggest that the art of healing is unnecessary. Far be from it any such intentions, but it is humbly hoped that it will be a guide to those who suffer to seek within themselves the real origin of their maladies, so that they may assist themselves in their own healing. Moreover, it is hoped that it may stimulate those, both in the medical profession and in religious orders, who have the welfare of humanity at heart, to redouble their efforts in seeking the relief of human suffering, and so hasten the day when the victory over disease will be complete. The main reason of the failure of modern medical science is that it is dealing with the results and not causes. For many centuries, the real nature of disease has been masked by materialism, and thus disease itself has been given every opportunity of extending its ravages, since it has not been attacked at its origin. The situation is like to an enemy strongly fortified in the hills, continually waging guerrilla warfare in the country around, while the people, ignoring the fortified garrison, content themselves with repairing the damaged houses and burying the dead, which are the result of the raids of the marauders. So, generally speaking, is the situation in medicine today. Nothing more than the patching up of those attacked and the burying of those who are slain, without a thought being given to the real stronghold. Disease will never be cured or eradicated by present materialistic methods, for the simple reason that disease in its origin is not material, what we know as disease in an ultimate result produced in the body. The end product of deep and long acting forces, and even if material treatment alone is apparently successful, this is nothing more than a temporary relief unless the real cause has been removed. The modern trend of medical science, by misinterpreting the true nature of disease and concentrating it in materialistic terms in the physical body, has enormously increased its power. Firstly, by distracting the thoughts of people from its true origin and hence from the effective method of attack, and secondly, by localizing it in the body, thus obscuring true hope of recovery and raising a mighty disease complex of fear, which never should have existed. Disease is in essence the result of conflict between soul and mind and will never be eradicated except by spiritual and mental effort. Such efforts, if properly made with understanding, as we shall see later, can cure and prevent disease by removing those basic factors which are its primary cause. No effort directed to the body alone can do more than superficially repair damage, and in this there is no cure since the cause is still operative and may at any moment again demonstrate its presence in another form. In fact, in many cases, apparent recovery is harmful since it hides from the patient the true cause of his trouble, and in the satisfaction of apparently renewed health, the real factor, being unnoticed, may gain in strength. Contrast these cases with that of the patient who knows or who is by some wise physician instructed in the nature of the adverse spiritual or mental forces at work, the result of which has been precipitated what we call disease in the physical body. If that patient directly attempts to neutralize those forces, health improves as soon as this is successfully begun, and when it is completed, the disease will disappear. This is true healing by attacking the stronghold, the very base of the cause of suffering. One of the exceptions to materialistic methods in modern science is that of the great Hahnemann, the founder of homeopathy, who, with his realization of the benefit love of the Creator and of the divinity which resides within man, by studying the mental attitude of his patients towards life, environment, and their respective diseases, sought to find in the herbs of the field and in the realms of nature the remedy which would not only heal their bodies but would at the same time uplift their mental outlook. May his science be centered and developed by those true physicians who have the love of humanity at heart. 500 years before Christ, some physicians of ancient India, working under the influence of the Lord Buddha, advanced the art of healing to so perfect a state that they were able to abolish surgery, although the surgery of their time was as efficient or more so than that of the present day. Such men as Hippocrates, with his mighty idols of healing, Pericles with his certainty of the divinity in man, and Hahnemann, who realized that disease originated in a plane above the physical, all this knew much of the real nature and remedy of suffering. What untold misery would have been spared during the last 20 or 25 centuries had the teaching of these great masters of their art being followed. But as in other things, materialism has appealed too strongly to the Western world, and for so long a time that the voices of the practical obstacles have risen above the advice of those who knew the truth. Let it be briefly stated that disease, though apparently so cruel, is in itself beneficent and of our good, and if rightly interpreted, It will guide us to our essential faults. If properly treated, it will be the cause of the removal of those faults and leave us better and greater than before. Suffering is a corrective to point out a lesson which by other means we have failed to grasp, and never can it be eradicated until that the lesson is learnt. Let it also be known that in those who understand and are able to read the significance of premonitory symptoms, diseases may be prevented before its onset or aborted in its earlier stages if the proper corrective spiritual and mental efforts be undertaken. Nor need any case despair, however severe, for the fact that the individual is still granted physical life indicates that the soul who rules is not without hope.